Rolling. Here we go. And that's the magic of filmmaking, folks. Well, hey, we're back, episode 3 or part 3 or 3 or 15, depending on when you're watching it, okay, of our Rat's Nest podcast here that we're trying to do. We're trying to do more of these, having more topics about film. Sean and I know a lot about stuff. I'm Jesse.
I'm Sean.
And we are the main people behind Nerd Rat. We have a whole team of people we work with, but we love what we do, and we have so many things to nerd out and talk about that we decided that we would talk about stuff on a camera and see if anybody enjoyed it.
Which, yeah, seems like it's working out. We do have a live stream going, so if you want to watch these live, we will be doing these as live runs. Like, we've recorded 2 other ones today. We're kind of batch recording. It takes a long time to set.
Why not even change clothes, Sean?
to make us look this good, it takes a long time.
Yeah. Exactly. And I guess we went over a couple of things about a little bit of our history last time, and, kind of talked about, some other things that are exciting us in the year, and something that we're known for in Colorado specifically is music videos. So we thought we would maybe share some stories and kind of maybe talk about the process a little bit. Chime in if you want to down there. We're going to check chat as much as we want. I might not check it at all. I might never look at it, bro. Sorry. I don't even know how to read.
Weren't you good for it?
Yeah, we got the chat before,
That's 3 episodes in.
Yeah, we're huge. We're legends. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're not legends. We're losers.
Local losers.
Local losers, podcast number 3. Heads up.
Music videos for me hold a deep spot because that's kind of what got me into filmmaking in general. Because, like, in the first episode, we kind of talked about that my first, experiences in filmmaking were in high school, digital video classes. But what really got me excited once I kind of realized what video was and could be was music videos. Because at that time too, I was also drumming and really kind of pursuing maybe being in a band, whichever high school probably goes through at some point. So music videos was something I watched a lot of starting out in high school, especially when YouTube is kind of pretty new at that point. Because I graduated in 2010, so it was almost like a year or a year and a half after YouTube came on the scene. And bands started posting their music videos more readily than watching it on MTV or on TV at that point.
Yeah. Do you remember your first music video?
No, I don't. I really don't. But I remember spending a lot of time in the high school computer lab while being being picked up after classes, just watching the music videos.
Yeah.
Can't really tell you which bands they were because I don't remember what I was listening to back then.
Yeah.
But I just remember being so inspired by how crazy and you can be as complex or as simple as you wanted to, and there's no limit to what you could do.
Yeah.
Which was very appealing.
Right. I mean, I got a similar story, but I'm a couple of years older than Sean. So I was at the ripe age of 11 through 14 in the late 90s when in my opinion, was peak music video, production. You would tune into TRL, you would wake up in the morning to turn on music videos before you go to like football in the morning. I'd watch music videos as many as I could all the time, but also around that his late 90s and once the early 2000s rolled around and reality TV came in, less music videos were being played, so you had to seek them out, and then finally YouTube came around and you're able to see every video you ever wanted. You didn't have to wait for it to come through, which was
it is many times in a row.
Vivo didn't quite exist yet, which kind of has cornered the music video market. So you'd have to seek them out either on websites or on YouTube to watch them if you wanted to. But I remember around 2005, they started just readily the best videos from 1992 or something. You watch them on somebody's downloadable site. But I remember sitting and watching music videos and waiting for a certain music video to come on and just wanting to see it. And that right there in itself, access to everything right now is amazing. But whenever you have if you are restricted from seeing everything you could possibly see, and you're only allowed to see certain videos, and depending on where you were located in the world, or like, you know, what friggin' cable network you were, like, it would really depend on what you were able to see. And I remember, like, and I've had conversations with people my age that grew up all around the country, and we'd be watching the same channel, and they'd be playing different things, and they'd tell me about like all these videos that they used to watch when they were growing up I'd never see, and I'd tell them all the ones I'd see and they'd never see. There's like this regional like change up on that stuff, which is interesting, because then once you got in those conversations in the middle of the early 2000s, people would tell you about a video, and then you go try to find it, or you'd have to go download it on Kazaa or something stupid. I know YouTube's got everything, but the most joy I remember as a child is watching all of those music videos, and just also too is listening to music at the time period and thinking of the music video, and then hoping that the song gets popular enough to where they make a music video, and then you get to watch the music video that's made, and then you get to sit there and be like, well, that's not what I would have done. I still do that. Is it? Still do that too. But that was when I was in the beginning stages there. I remember my parents coming in while I was watching stuff, and I was describing to them how the video worked when I was like 11 or 12, and they're like, what? Well, it was in lights over here, and they're like, lights? What? Like, it, you know, it's such a weird world. And now you can go on the internet and just type in how to be a filmmaker, and you can find it. Back then, you just kind of had to guess. Like, I guess that's how it made. You say, hey, where do I find a camera? Cell phones didn't have cameras till I was like 23 years old.
Yep.
So like music videos were easily digestible, and something else that echoes of that time, when you did get a hold of a camera, you didn't have audio equipment. So if you did try to shoot a short film, it was garbage because the wind would be blowing the mic.
Sure.
Yeah, but if you were to shoot a music video, you could shoot it with anything that would record video.
Yeah.
And then be able to, you know,
lean into the aesthetic.
Yeah. And that was the beginnings of learning how to make music videos and understanding they're the easiest and fastest things to make creatively. And then also learning how to lean into your budget. Oh, I don't have budget to take us to space, but I could put us in like a weird cardboard space outfit and then just run with it, is where your creativity takes over.
Fly the Concorde's ass.
Yes.
The robot.
Yeah, dude, I literally just watched that first season like a couple days ago again.
Nice.
Such a good show. But yeah, that's what it started for me, and that's why we're doing it today.
At this point, yeah, like one of the bands we've done a couple music videos for, called Dead Pioneers, is like huge, like, or not like huge, but they're getting to that point. And I just found out through our friend Sam Hunnis that they're touring with Pearl Jam like in a couple months, or like
in Europe, right?
Yeah, and it's just like, what? So it's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. And that one has, I think we just broke 42,000 views.
That just, every time I look at it, there isn't a moment in that 48-hour timeline that has ever been below like 150 views in 48 hours.
Yeah, so it's very like reassuring that we can do something that people like and will watch, which is really nice.
Yeah, and some too is like, and how we got them was through that competition, the 5314 music video experiment. That's run by Doug Usher for VIA here at Fort Collins. And honestly, if you don't have one of these going on in your town and you want it to happen, just do it. It's amazing. Basically, they team up with a band and a film team, like a 48-hour film competition where you have to make the film in a weekend, but you don't get to find out which band you're going to have until that Friday. And then you have basically 53 hours and 14 minutes.
And that's very subjective to us.
Yeah.
Or not, maybe not subjective, but it's because we have 53 14ers in Colorado.
Yeah. That's why they named it that. It allows for a competition here in Colorado to take place. As an echo of that, there's a lot of people who think of Northern Colorado as the place to make music videos in the state, because we do got a lot of people making videos up here. Also, Fort Collins is a music town, so filmmakers and musicians teaming up in this town makes sense. And it's also one of the reasons why we have a music district, which is huge. And it's one of the reasons why I want to start a film district, because there's such a support for creatives at all different levels in music that we could do that with film, since they're already teaming us all up.
Yep.
But back to the competition, we get teamed up with Dead Pioneers in year 6, right? Or 7, right? Because they've been doing this for like 7 years now.
It was last year.
Year 7, I think.
Was that year 7? Okay.
Yeah.
It's all kind of blurred together. We're one of two. We're going to mention Sam again. Sam Hunnis is like the only other person that's done every single year of 5314.
It's true.
But yeah, anyway, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. 5314 competition, team up with a band. You get to see what 10 bands are a possibility if you make it into the competition. And so you secretly just like listen to all the bands and kind of think of some kind of concept for all the members, for all the bands, and then you get teamed up and you come up with the video. We do that in Fort Collins, and it's got to be a pretty good following. When they do the showing in August, it's huge. But you get teamed up with a random band every year, and I think it was year 6 that we got teamed up with Dead Pioneers.
7 was Origami with Maria Picasso.
Exactly. Got teamed up with Dead Pioneers, and they are on the ups. And that's like one of the first bands that we've worked with that are slowly breaking out right now.
Yeah. Yeah, not to like throw shade on any of the bands we've worked with in the past, but like for whatever reason, we kept getting teamed up with bands that were like just either not interested in participating, which is weird because there's like the last couple of years there's been like 400 bands that apply to be a part of this and only 10 are picked.
Yep.
And then just to like throw it off as like, I don't really want to do it is kind of crazy to me, kind of insane.
Yeah.
But a lot of the bands we've worked with in the past like break up or something happens where they're not together anymore almost as soon as we shoot a video for them.
Yep. Or release it. Yeah.
Which is like really like detrimental to our like, I don't know, like our growth. Yeah. Cause it's like, oh, we put all this effort. I mean, obviously you can't put a ton of effort into a video in 2 days essentially. But essentially Jesse and I don't sleep for 2 days a lot of the time on these things. And to see it just kind of crash. But yeah, like Dead Pioneers is doing really well. And you can check out our music videos, plural, for them. But mostly Bad Indian is the one that's like kind of blowing up because
we worked with them on a different video and they liked working with us. So we did a second video last February. And it literally was 2 days ago was our like year anniversary of shooting it. And in the middle of February, beginning of February, I think is when we released it. And so it's about to pass a year and it's still climbing, which is a first for both of us.
Yeah. One, like the big blow up for that one, which is really cool. If anybody's watched Reservation Dogs on Hulu, it's like a story about people living on a reservation. And one of the main actors on that, on her TikTok, lip sync to Bad Indian. Like when it was at like a couple thousand listens, maybe it got on their Spotify. And because of that, it blew up. So he made a music video for it and it's continued to blow up. And now they're like touring Europe and the US, which is really cool. And we're just like so happy that we're like a small part of this expansion on this band who like, I think kind of deserves it because the storylines and the music is very impactful and meaningful, especially.
Yeah, Greg's kind of a big genius. His head talks and mural. Yeah, just a small echo of someone who's he's a Native American, and the song, as you could tell, is called Bad Indian, and the reason it's called that is just basically playing on the concept of the only good Indian is a dead Indian, which is a saying that echoed for years and years and years. And so it's a song about like, well, I must not be good because I'm alive.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm here. So I'm a bad Indian.
Yeah.
Which, as two white dudes making a video might seem weird for us to do, but Greg and we all teamed up. The competition teamed us up together. We love all the things of the world, and it's so great for us to be able to work with Greg, to be able to spread his message, and be able to do cool videos with him, and do something, in my opinion, that is just really important.
Yeah, well, it's in a genre that's more my style, because I'm a huge like metal fan. Right, that's a lot of the music videos that inspire me. So it's fun to do like that kind of. They're not metal, but like a punk kind of like. More like raw, more heavy feel. But yeah, I mean, I think we can kind of expand upon 5314 stuff a little bit just because you've done it for so many years.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. So 5314, like we said, was a competition for film, for music videos. They've been doing it they started in 2018. So that was year 7. They're going on year 8 right now. And it is a really great competition. And honestly, because I throw so many competitions myself, it's the only competition I get to compete in, which is great because we're just always trying to help each other out, have challenges around here. And it's one of the funner ones. I think last time we went to it, there's 150, 200 people there at the premiere. Free premiere at the Lyric. Everybody comes out. We watch them outside. We cheer each other on.
Yeah, another tie to the Lyric.
Yeah.
Like just being our our go-to home of
Yeah.
being able to show things locally.
It's our Alamo Draft House, and Ben Moser has been holding that sucker down since 2007.
I think it'd be fun to have him on the cast. Some of the crazy stories.
I think Ben would have some stuff to say.
He's also like a filmmaker and has done some like feature films locally and
Yep.
just basically helped every single filmmaker
Yep, that he can.
in a way, and also like musician and painter and sculptor. Like,
Right. And then also being like the local, like, I know how it is, like jaded creative. This is how it works is good, because we need a couple of those. Like,
he's been around.
he's been around and he hasn't given up, which, bless his heart. Holding down a brick and mortar that's like, honestly, one of the last beacons up here in Northern Colorado for creativity is important. So, all the power to the Lyric. And we love it there. Hell, someday if we had the money and we grew to it, I would love to be able to invest in it and create it, turn it into even bigger of a thing that it ever was, But back to the music videos and stuff like that, like with Dead Pioneers and Bad Indian, and then the other videos we've done for them. We just did one for DNA Picasso for the last competition called Origami. And it was the first time we got a hold of a hip hop artist and was able to start doing more stuff like that.
Which we ended up doing just more of an R&B version of one of his songs, but it's still something different for us this year. Because we always kind of get tagged with like the obscure weird bands,
which is fine.
Which works, but a lot of the time those end up just falling apart. But I feel like DNA is another one that's like on the rise locally.
Yeah. Which is great too, is without like going into too many like historical like milestones, we do get looked at as the cats that can do anything, and we're willing to bend, and just like every time we show a video for that competition, it's something different. And that's kind of the goal, and honestly, it's just a fun thing for us to do, and it gives us an excuse to do something creative that we love, and it happens to be something that we're really good at. And there's also like we're one of 10 teams, and like almost every video that comes through the thing is freaking amazing. Like Ben Hess's video last year was amazing. I mean, Hudson does something amazing every year. It's him and Frazee teaming up. I mean, and then also too is you got like what they do is you're also encouraging other filmmakers that wouldn't normally get a chance to do this to compete as well. And if you're out there and you're in Fort Collins area and you want to compete in this thing, look it up. It's 5314 a Music Video Experiment, or VIA, or Doug Usher, and follow it, because they start taking submissions for it like here in the next couple months. And honestly, they get so many bands that apply, and they only bring 10 filmmaking teams in, that it's actually an honor that we've been able to compete every single year. But if you think that you want to come in and knock us out of our spot and be our guest, like that's the whole point.
Or join our team,
join our team.
It's usually, it's like we keep it really low key and small. One, because we don't expect people to stay up for 2 days straight and not get paid. It's like it's $1,000 budget, but a lot of that goes to either like an equipment rental or food. Like food's like a huge thing. It's food, most activity. So like, we'd love to have more people on our teams every year.
Well, something to bring up is that $1,000 budget that you were talking about. So they do give us $1,000. They started with $500, which means that they've actually
forgot about that.
Yes, at $500. They doubled the actual budget.
And they keep talking about a $5,000 budget, but I don't think
that's going to take some major investment and a major distribution network, which would be awesome. But that also means we'd be teaming up with bands that probably aren't necessarily local either. So there's that give and take of it all.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I would still like to see a $5,000. Like, there was like a series on YouTube at one point called "We Did a Video for $5,000." Like, that was low budget, and they were like big artists like doing it. And I'm like, whoa, $5,000? Wow, you could do anything with that. $5,000. We did one. Can you believe it? We did a video under $5,000. I'm like, I can believe it.
Yeah.
All right.
Everything we've done music video wise has been under 5,000.
Under 5,000. With no ROI. So what are you gonna do? I don't know. Do you have any crazy stories you can think of about some music video shoots? I mean, we can kind of talk about our process.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always really loved, I don't know if it's necessarily a story of the Cassiopeia with Deborah. Just like the making of was interesting to me.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that because that kind of helps us out with our process.
But also, yeah, like the Ryan Koenig one was also like, so when we first started these, we went like real hard into the production, if that makes any sense. Cause like a lot of people spend the first night planning and then they'll shoot the next day and then edit into turn in.
Yeah.
And we would always shoot the first night, edit the whole second day into the next night, shoot overnight into the next day. So we were shooting so much stuff in such a little time. And with like the Rand Koenig one by Altus, I think that's the longest I've ever stayed up in my life. I think it was 46 hours straight.
We were like, no, that might have been I Am the Owl, where we were like, I gotta just close my eyes for a second and we'll also lay on the floor.
I Am the Owl, yeah, we actually slept during
the floor, but then woke up.
Yeah, that one was fun because we brought all of our footage in to the edit bay.
That's a good one.
And then as we're editing, we're like, oh, it looks way better sped up. And so now all of our long takes of stuff became like 5-second clips.
Yeah, instead of like 40 scissors.
Then we were like, well, we have 1 minute of video.
Yeah.
So that one, yeah, we definitely had to shoot.
But that explains why on the rest of the shoots we started overshooting.
Yeah.
But then we figured out a balance these days. But
yeah, but like the Ryan Koenig one, we literally didn't sleep for I want to say 46 hours.
Well, that was a wild one.
And we were like shooting, and I could barely like, my eyes wouldn't focus on the screen. I only had the little screen on the Sony. I didn't have any of the external screens at that time. And trying to like, I'm just hoping it's in focus at that point, and like relying on some autofocus features. But that one I think is still one of our favorites.
It's a fun one. Huh?
So if you haven't seen that, go check it out.
Well, I think Rad Koenig did a very good thing to our milestone, which is one of those videos where we're like, let's just do something that we want to do weird and strange, but like keep it tame, but like do something weird. And the band was all that.
Like the opposite. It's like very weird and not tame at all.
Tame. It's just constant.
In fact, when we showed the band, there was zero reaction.
Zero.
When we showed,
they got up and left, and we had like food and everything, and we had a whole like spread of food. They didn't even eat it.
Private premiere for everybody involved and the band.
Hey, they launched it.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the day, but you can hear crickets.
Yeah, it was great. I was like, we're like, oh shit. But then when we showed it at the premiere at the Lyric, is the last one they showed, and I remember specifically we're all sitting there and we watched all the videos, and the video wraps up because it's like just like goes so fast that it's like there's like a second of silence, and then the entire room goes. Which was cool.
And that was the one I wasn't able to be on. I think I was away for work.
That was one of those shows where you're like, oh, everybody loved it. They're like, holy shit. Yeah, that was a blast.
Yeah, Ryan Koenig was just like stylistically, I love. Then I guess like my more recent one that I really love is the Deborah Cassiopeia one.
Cassiopeia.
And that one, like, so every year, like we were saying, that we try to do something that we didn't do a previous year.
Yep.
Because like, yeah, we could shoot a good music video every year just with not basic, but like just general film techniques.
Yeah.
So we try to like, okay, like with the Beeves, let's do a 1-take video. So we spent like the first day and a half setting it up, and we shot it in like 7 or 8 takes.
It was 8 takes, I remember. And then we were like, we're done.
Yeah, and then we were done, and we didn't have to do much in the editing bay because it was a single take. And that one, like, we got like magazine write-ups in our local magazines, which is like a really cool thing. And actually, we got a whole article written about us by a guy who we used to work for, which is really fun. Brian Johnson, he used to own Marquee Magazine.
Which I don't even know if he knew he was writing it for us.
Yeah.
But that's an echo of like another time of us doing things.
Yeah. Under the Marquee would be a whole other thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a special thing every year that we get to do and be weird with someone else's money.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time the bands just let us do what we want, which is great. But like the Dever one, we decided to use the probe lens because at that time it was very popular, kind of becoming viral on YouTube and stuff like that. So we're like, screw it, let's try that.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, a probe lens kind of looks like this shotgun mic.
Yeah, but more like this style.
Sorry, mine's a little small.
Yeah.
It's a long.
It's a 14-inch lens.
That the very tip of it is a tiny, tiny lens that allows you to see like things at a microscopic level. And then also we had to crank the light.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Because we were shooting on my Red, and at the time, the probe lens did not have a RF mount lens for their probe lens. So that means we had to extend that lens's length by another 2 inches using an adapter, which just shortens the depth of field even more. So if you know anything about lenses, the length from the tip to the sensor definitely dictates the depth of field and how close you can focus on stuff. So that's why the probe lens is so long. It extends that distance between the front and the back, but then we extended that even further. So to get any kind of depth that wasn't just like a hairline, we had to shoot at, it was f40.
F40.
Which is crazy because the one on this lens goes up to f16.
Yeah.
So we're double what a normal lens would use.
And we also had what was the wattage on that light?
So on this light, it's a 300X. So it's 300 watt.
We had it like almost sitting on top of the
with the cone on it to concentrate the light. Fully turned on. So like, yeah,
it was still was just like average bright. We still had to crank it.
Yeah, it was actually underexposed. But what we did was like, we had everybody on the team make mini sets on Jetsy's dinner plates because they were black, like kind of matte dinner plates. And so everybody made a little mini set. We walked around the block and just picked up rocks and bark and moss and stuff like that.
But you also brought like some skulls and stuff too, I think.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was just like random stuff we have around the house. You can kind of tell in the background. We have a lot of random stuff on shelves. And so we shot like the inner, where like the spinal cord would be on a moose vertebra. And that's like the cave system of the music video. So it was so much fun to create these mini worlds. And then we found this little like space cowboy walking through them. And yeah, I'm just like, we actually technically didn't finish in time. I think we did only like a third of the shots. We had 65 or 67 shots.
But every single shot
was a green screen.
It was a green screen comp into a miniature set with then an extended shadow.
Yeah.
So it's like a double.
Yeah, I faked all the shadows in it.
Yeah.
And we tried to do that in 2 days. But luckily Doug, who runs it, was like, took pity on us and saw the overall, like what it could be, and gave us the rest of the week to work on it for the premiere. But yeah, like that's another thing I love about these is that at the end of the 2 days, everybody comes back with all their horror stories.
And they're all like, we're all standing around a table just being like, I didn't sleep. Yeah. I think I killed a man. I don't know, dude. Like, that's what happens. And then too is like, you know, and also too is like, that's how you know it's such a tight niche community. If you're not there in time, you start getting calls from, make a video, yeah, what's up? But they were all like just excited to see that all of us suffered the same punishment, if you will, creating a video, and they're just cheering each other on. And that's just an amazing process in this whole thing. We make a lot of music videos, and I look forward to that competition every year. If there was more competitions like that, I would do it. Mostly, it's an excuse to make a video without having to like hunt down somebody and figure out their budget. Because most people, they don't really have a budget to make music videos that want a music video. And that's our biggest hang up, because we've been doing this for so long that we can make amazing videos with any budget, no problem. But it gets to the point now where we got to be like, well, how are we going to grow ourselves with the content? And we got to play that game a lot of times. Like, for instance, we try to make deals with bands that if they can't afford a large video, we try to be able to host it on our site, because then that makes up for it. And then we get the view count. We've had to like, you know, do merch trades before in the past. Like, we try to figure it out, but we're to the point now that if we're going to grow the way that we need to grow, there needs to be some kind of budget. And it's not because we need to be paid. It's just that that's what it requires to make videos that are really
Yeah, I mean, gear rentals are not cheap. And to do it right, you need permits and locations and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So like, one thing we've always talked about, one thing we really want to do with growing this channel and making, you know, being able to monetize it through Patreon, which we have a Patreon, if you want to consider checking that out. We have YouTube now. One of the big things is to take that and be able to do music videos for bands who can't afford them, to help them out. And it's paid for by our community. And that's like one of our kind of our big passions, is like that makes us able to shoot a lot of music videos. It helps a lot of local bands, but then there's a budget to throw towards that. And that's kind of something that we're hoping comes out of this, alongside of like, you know, being able to fund some of our short films and stuff through monetizing the channel. But a big thing is like, if we could shoot one a month and it's paid for by everybody watching, and they get something out of it, the band gets something out of it, and
they can help us design it. That'd be a cool idea. I think that we've talked about doing that, and we want your all support out there if you're interested in helping be part of a music video without having to own all the equipment, or
or if you're just a fan of music and you watch a lot of music videos, it's a way to like, it'll probably start local, but it would be a way to give back to bands, or hopefully someday it explodes to the point where we're doing bands from all over the world,
which
it'd be so sweet. But like,
we're traveling.
We're gonna start small.
We're traveling to India or whatever, South Korea, to do a shoot, and it's all paid for, and all we gotta do is shoot a dope video for an international band. I mean, I might consider it.
It'd make a sweet YouTube
video.
And we'll live stream it.
Yeah, well, hey, real quick, before we wrap this one up, we got a good question for this. It's, which is your dream artist to make a video for? That's one of them. And I got these up there. It's like lost work, effort, or, time that we did. But this one applies really well to what we're talking about. So if you had a dream artist that you would make a video for, music video.
Yeah.
Stay there, music videos.
I mean, one of the bands that I've really been inspired by the last few years, is a band called Bad Omens.
I knew it.
Again, being a metalhead, and like, I really love metalcore. They kind of started out, like, their music videos have always kind of generally been good. But then they got this director on named Orny McGinnis, who doesn't really even have a YouTube channel. I think he deleted his YouTube channel. I can't find it anymore. But this guy,
very privileged to be able to delete your YouTube.
Yeah. Just like,
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't need anybody to know about anything else.
But he has such a beautiful style of shooting.
Yeah.
And this band lends to such a cinematic universe that they created with their, not their newest, but their like semi-recent album. And this guy's done all their music videos since the music video Dethroned. But it's almost like Blade Runner-esque in how the scope of the beauty, like the sets, which I'm sure it's probably a lot of green screen and stuff like that.
Are you saying you would leave working with me to go work with that cinematographer? Is that what you're saying?
With that director? I think he also shoots them.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
But just, I mean, like, there's music videos or music that they have that I've literally like have a whole music video in my head that I want to do for them. And honestly, I think that'd be kind of a fun, like, do like a fan-made video. That would be one of them. Bring Me the Horizons, another like one of my all-time favorites. They just do some really cool music videos in my opinion. But then like Slipknot would be,
so that'd be great. That'd be great.
Because that Slipknot brought me into the metal world. I actually hated metal again in high school.
This is Slipknot,
and I was like, okay, yeah,
let's go.
And then like on the random tail end of that, if I had a top 5, we'd be like, okay, go. Just because they do some really insane music videos that require a lot of planning and a lot of work for a small outcome. Not a small outcome, but like a music video is a pretty small outcome from like thousands of hours of work. And they actually just put out a music video this last week that reminds me of like old Mystery Guitar Man. It's all on phones. They shot, I think it was 1,200 takes and used 64 of those shots across 64 iPhones.
Jesus.
And made a whole, it's like a mosaic. All 64 iPhones make one image kind of thing. And it's like, no one else is doing that. No one else is putting that words there. Yeah. So it's like, I don't actively listen to them, but I've watched their music videos hundreds of times. So like, yeah, that's not my top 1, but I guess top 5. So.
Well, this is a tough one because the reason I'd want to work with an artist is because of the work they're doing, which means that if I did a video for that artist, I'd probably have to stick in their vein. First, it's like Tommy Cash. I would love to do a video for Tommy Cash, but you know what kind of video you'd be making.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be doing anything too experimental.
What?
No, I mean like outside of his realm. Like you'd come up with some ideas, but there'd still be the Tommy Cash vibe.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be making a what is that that band from Germany that we all see? Dekine.
Or, yeah.
It wouldn't. A Dekine is an echo of Tommy Cash, but not as extreme. You know.
Yeah, they got their own style.
Exactly. But like this is what I think would be a dream. An artist is up and coming, and they're rising, and it is something like metal-y, electronic-y, something that's like a little weird. And they're about to
cowboy, yes.
Yeah. But then we get to be the cats that are on the front lines that help design the aesthetic for their videos, and then we get to run with that for like 10 videos. So it's not necessarily the dream artist, it's the dream idea of like finding an artist that's like, I love your style, we both connect on that style, and I want you to help me design my aesthetic.
Universe, yeah.
Let's create your universe. Yeah. That right there would be a dream. And honestly, at this point, it could be as stupid as Taylor Swift. But the idea of someone coming and going, create a universe that you can handle and then put me into it, that's the dream artist.
Yeah. Tyler Creator, Oliver Tree, Sonic Dash, Orville Peck. Yeah,
just a little bit. Yeah, they have their own little thing, and they're like an echo of the late 90s, which I love. But there's so much creativity out there that if somebody would just allow us a chance to be creative with, like, I don't know, let's just say an unlimited budget, sure. We could do something for them that would put them over the edge. And that's the dream artist that I'm looking for. I don't even know who they are.
We'll find them. If you are that artist.
If you're that artist, hit up the
comment below.
Exactly. Well, y'all, we're trying to keep these around 30. I think this is a good ending point for this one right now. But we love music videos. If we also have these music video reviews that we've been doing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We're going to try to change those up a little bit. But if you have any videos you want us to watch and get our opinion on, we will. Send them to us. We think we're going to start doing another series on them that are basically only requests from you cats out there for videos you'd like us to talk about and review. We've got some other stuff coming up too, but
yeah, there'll be a lot more music video talk because a lot of the local people that are filmmakers in our area have done music videos too. So I think it'll just kind of be a general thing. We just wanted to kind of talk about our music videos for a second because we talk about so many other people's music videos.
Right.
So a chance to get it off our chest a little bit. So yeah, thanks for checking it out, and hopefully you checked out all of our music videos.
If you had, I'm going to do classic. It's probably on the screen somewhere right here. Go find it. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you next time, all right?
I gotta pee.
What? Dude, that's like my 4th beer. It's happening because I'm just full of piss right now.